Hi, welcome to Cherie's Weight Loss Journey. Today, I feel like I'm kind of back on track. Um, I was tested, believe me, I was tested thoroughly. Uh, because, here's the thing. You have people who will look at you and pass judgment on you, right? And in the process of them passing judgment on you and comparing themselves to you, they don't actually see themselves. They see a part of themselves in you, but usually that's a part of them that they don't like. Okay? And I'm like, okay, cool. You see something in me that you don't like. Let's talk about it. Right? So, anyway, getting back to the testing, right? So you have these ones that are like, oh, I'm tired, I feel weak, but how is that person, able to still keep their job, right? And it's like, well, they're still able to keep their job because, they have persistence, determination, resilience, strength, and intelligence, right? But they don't see it that way. How they see it is, how some people, they operate in this earth, right? Which is they barter immorality in order to keep their job. And I'm like, well, why would you say that? Then after, of course, showing my strength, showing that, I do the work. I go home and it's brought to my attention about this video where a son, struggled 3 months with his mother, talking about how they needed to press charges against the father for having, raped their son. And the son could not accept the fact that he was raped. So they had to word it differently and said that the father had sex with the son. Right? Now the son's a minor, okay? The son is not even, I guess he was like under 13 years old. And that's the way that they kind of word it, on these legal sessions, where you have to, they won't specify the age, but they'll basically say is under a certain age, right? And, one of the things, that I have been very strong in my mind about, especially after, the alphabet community has came out, that, we need to hear their story, right? Don't sit up here and tell us that this was a love story. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. And then you're operating as if this atrocity is actually love. And yet we don't get to hear your love story. What's really going on? So then this boy, he's trying to tell his family that they need to bring the father to court. Well, the father has been investigated for numerous assaults against minor children, and he really only got convicted when it came to his son, because he had felt, I guess, some kind of conscientiousness, that he felt that he wanted to maintain the love of his son, so he had to admit what the son was saying was true. Otherwise, the son would be in conflict all of his life, feeling as if the violations against him were not severe, and continue to have other males violate him as he starts to incorporate this lifestyle. So he decided to go ahead and admit, right? And like I said, he did not admit that he sexually assaulted the son, right? What he had admitted is that he had sex with the son. So that was only a partial healing for the son, right? So because it was only a partial healing for the son goes to the parole hearing and tells them, we need our father back. Our house is falling apart. The brothers and sisters, they also need him. The the mother, she needs him, right? And that's why, I'm saying, they kind of told their story, but it was a partial. They don't really see, the travesties that was done, because they're still stuck in the notion that, they have a viable man in their lives, even though, he's been in prison for I don't know how many years. It's over a decade. And then my thought went to, other men that have been victimized, right? Because so many men have been victimized that have felt and have been branded, right? They've been branded in their victimization, that they feel as if, they are meant to be a whole society living and thriving as long as they can. And yet their activities is making them ill. Their mere act of intimacy is a spread of disease, right? It affects their autoimmune system, and they want society to come up with ways to mend their autoimmune system. And society is like, we're only doctors, we can only heal so much, right? And yet, out of the thousands and thousands of, recorded travesties, most of them, occur, men against women. And for some reason, they get coddled. They get coddled with the notion, yeah, it was a mistake. I misplaced my sexual needs, on a child. I should have had an adult, an adult female somewhere, right? And, when it's incest, they try their best, not to have these, children